Tottenham Hotspur are in their worst run of form under new manager Ange Postecoglou. And also, it's their worst run of form since 2004, having lost to Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool back to back to back to back. And many of you who are fans of the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel will know I am a big fan of Ange Postecoglou. I'm wearing a t-shirt for God's sakes. But today I'm going to have to defend his honour because there has been a lot of questions and suggestions that Ange Postecoglou might not have a future at the football club. Now I know this is only maybe a certain number of rival fans and neutrals who are having a go at Big Ange, but I've got to back my guy. I think he is the one to help us succeed at Tottenham. So today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, I'm going to be asking the question, are Roy Keane and Gary Neville right about Ange Postecoglou? So yeah, as I said in the intro, Tottenham are on their worst run of form since 2004. And, you know, I can agree, it's not been good enough. The fight has been lacking from the players. 4 games have been absolutely dismal, dire and atrocious. And only some glimmers of hope from certain individuals. You know, losing 4-0 up at Newcastle, not good enough. Being 3-0 down in the North London derby at home in the first half, not good enough. Losing 2-0 to a lacklustre Chelsea on a resurgent streak, not good enough. And then going to Anfield and being 4-0 down and then putting some fight in afterwards to make it 4-2, not good enough. And as I keep saying, I love Ange Postecoglou. I really think he is the perfect manager for Tottenham, but I had to call out what I see. It's not been good enough. The players have been severely lacking. The set pieces have been an issue. But this is the short term. In the long term, I'm backing this manager. I think we are going to be absolutely fine. You know, Levy just needs to back him in the summer transfer window and get him the signings that he needs to take this team to the next level. We've got to shift a lot of deadwood out. There are still players who are somehow at the football club after being through, you know, 3 or 4 previous managers, and it's time to make a shift and make some changes. But as the title of the video says, I'm going to be reacting to some of the opinions that have been said by Sky Sports pundits, Roy Keane, and once again, Gary Neville. And we're going to start with the feisty Irishman, who we all know was a Spurs fan growing up.
Yeah, but I suppose we're just, well, rightly or wrongly for us, we're just probably reflecting on the last 3, 4, 5 games. But yeah, when you think when he came in at the start of the season, there was big challenges for him. He was new to the Premier League. There was question marks over him of the CV, I suppose, which is very, very unfair. And he's had a pretty decent season. But it's just over the last few games where they fell away and you start analysing Spurs and the perception of Spurs is, again, you know, there's always a softness to him, and he's got to try and change all that, because again, I think come the summer when he looks back and thinks, listen, there's some positives there, but to get to the next level, which is always a challenge for any manager, when you finish 5th or 6th, that next step, competing or getting the Champions League, is going to be the hardest step. But give the man a chance.
Roy Keane says it there, give the man a chance. He likes what he's seen. You know, managers, you know, it's a short-term thing in football. And I still think, personally, Ange Postecoglou needs to be given more time, more backing, more everything, really. You know, he still has not got the team he desires to have to compete with the very best. And even in that short clip, they show on screen a table that outlines, you know, record after the first 35 games and points won. Postecoglou's on 60, Jurgen Klopp's on 58, and Mikel Arteta down in 50. I've mentioned this on previous videos. I still think we're ahead of schedule. People didn't think we were going to be as good as we were at the start of the season, and the fact we've petered off a little bit has come as a surprise, but I'm not too surprised because Postecoglou does take a few years to develop his style across to the players, which he's shown, but there's still much place to grow. But, you know, I agree with what Roy Keane says. It's time to back this manager and give him a chance. And Gary Neville pretty much says similar sort of things.
This is a guy to get behind. You know, the last 4 years have been a real drain at Spurs. Honestly, at times you've watched them and thought, you know what you're going to get. But it isn't Spurs. You know, I say this, Spurs have got a style, a character, a personality as a football club, and arrogance in the way in which they play. And he brings all those things, that confidence in the game. And they should invest in that, because the Spurs fans are really happy. You know, I know they finished 4th at times, they finished 2nd at times in the last 6, 7, 8 years, but they should be really happy with how they finished 5th. Do you understand what I mean? Sometimes for a football fan, it's how you finish fifth, how you lose. They're the really important factors, because you know you're going to have good times with it as well, and you want those highs, and he's brought highs this season, Ange Postecoglou.
I think Gary Neville's spot on here. The attitude. Postecoglou is the perfect Tottenham manager, you could say. It's about attitude. It's about mentality. He wants to shift the mentality. He wants to bring the arrogance. He has a certain approach to the media. And you know, when Neville says this, he's reflecting on what Ten Hag has been like at Manchester United, which is not good enough. You know, he is now operating at a level that is not good enough to be Manchester United manager, whereas he sees Ange Postecoglou as being the next step for Tottenham. You know, back this manager. Don't look about what we had under Conte and Mourinho. We've moved on from that. We're better without them. We're better with this guy. Even Ally McCoist has had some good stuff to say, you know, at my beloved talkSPORT about Postecoglou and the style of Tottenham's play.
Well, they're coming out of the woodwork now, aren't they? I remember when Ange Postecoglou first took over, every Tottenham fan said, whoa, we love his style. It's all about being entertained. The results are not the be-all and end-all. And it sounds like a few, including Benty, are changing their tune then, Ali.
Not for me. Listen, I hear what they're saying, and he's got to do something defensively. But they've been a breath of fresh air. Come on. They've been great to watch. And obviously, I went to the Newcastle game. I was at the Newcastle game, Jeff, where they were terrible. They were really, really poor. But that aside, you think of some of the entertainment they've given us this season. Some of the games, just absolute classics. Even at Chelsea home, where they get players sent off and they're wide open. It's probably a little bit different for me, I suppose, and maybe yourself, because I'm not a Spurs. You know, I wouldn't say I was a Spurs fan. But I tell you what, you know, out of all the teams, they'd certainly been the top three for a season ticket, wouldn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, absolutely. But a breath of fresh. I've really enjoyed watching them. Even I think the weekend probably summed them up, Jeff. You know, I think that's Tottenham. They've got no real level of consistency over 90 minutes. You know, they'll be defensively slack at some point during the game, and you know they'll entertain you in attack, and that's the way they are. So naturally, Spurs want part of it shaded out and the other part increased, and that's going to be Ange's challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while. You can't expect him to achieve everything
No.
in one season. It's been a hugely entertaining season. The big question, of course, is where will they finish? It looks like the Champions League is beyond them.
It looks like
right
that
now,
because they've got tough games, haven't they?
They've got really tough games.
Spurs fans, you're having your say this afternoon, 81089 on the text. I'm not a Spurs fan, but looking from the outside, I tend to agree with Rory. Have Spurs really progressed? Pretty sure Conte could have guided them to fifth. Well, he didn't. He's got more points after 60 games than Klopp and Arteta. The players need time to adapt. He needs time to bring in the players that fits his system. That's from Dave, the Spurs fan. 03717223344 is the number if you want to have your say on the radio this Monday. Good afternoon, Darren. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Darren. Okay, are you happy with things at Spurs?
I think people have got to be a bit realistic. He hasn't got the players that he wants in. So you've got to give him at least 3 seasons, because the problem if we keep changing managers, we're going to end up in the same situation every season. We've got to give the manager a chance, because I've been going for 47 years and we've never been a team that doesn't concede goals. We've had terrible defences, and a lot of the fans want to see exciting football. You pay a lot of money. And I think we've got to be realistic. We are not going to, unless we get a big owner come in and spend loads of money, we are not going to win the title.
That's the bare minimum. At the beginning of the season, in my predictions, which I'll be reacting to at the end of the season, I remember saying the bare minimum I want to see is attractive football with, you know, more impetus to finish higher up the table. And we're getting that. Don't get me wrong, I've questioned things lately, like the fight, but I'm hoping in the next few games, Tottenham bounce back and we show what we are made of, and that we can achieve more with this team under Ange Postecoglou. Even, you know, when he was going up to the crowd, doing the whole mentality thing and his heart, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see from a manager. Someone who really cares and really, you know, wants to be here and back this team. And there's been people who have criticised it. You know, the likes of maybe Rory Jennings have said about, you know, people are being too kind towards Ange. It's like, you've got to give someone a chance. I haven't seen Pochettino be slated as much as, you know, Postecoglou in recent weeks. Pochettino's got away with it. Todd Bowley's getting more of the blame, which I find quite surprising. But yeah, I think, people saying Postecoglou being overhyped and they're questioning him. I think he's riding, he treats the media well. He answers perfectly. This guy is the perfect manager for Tottenham Hotspur. I'm doubling down on it. This poor run of form has not been good enough. It's on the players as much as it's on Ange. But Ange has said he's going to improve them and he's going to improve this football club as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Obviously, I'm a big Ange fan. You can tell by the t-shirt. But, many of you, I've read the comments recently, not sure about Ange. But let me know what you want instead. That's what I want to know. What, if you could have a different manager, name that manager. And how do you think we'd be under that manager? Because at the moment, I'm not being convinced that sacking Ange would be the best possibility. Maybe next year, if it goes wrong and completely we're still at this level, then think about it then. But at the moment, we've got to back him. But yeah, as I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you are new to the channel, leave a like, subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs, hit the notification bell, and also link in the description down below to become a member of Sonny Talk Spurs for 99p a month and get exclusive access to my podcast, Nice One Sonny. And until then, I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.